three recording studios. Tonight for your entertainment we are going to be doing a jam too. So you can grab your electric guitar or keyboard or what have you, and we can jam to the song by Emerson, Lake and Palmer. It's called From the Beginning. Yes, you can play your favorite lead solos of the song in a key of C major, and we are going to be using two chords for beginners. And just so we don't get too bored, we are going to be adding a third, yes, remember a third chord into the mix. The first two chords, I'm not going to tell you what they are yet. The third chord I will let you know is a C major. So I'm not sure what our do is, but with no further ado, let's get this show on the road so you can start playing some lead.
Just a note for beginners, you have to be really comfortable when you get set to play your guitar to really get serious about playing or practicing. It's always fun to grab a guitar and noodle around. But right now I'm trying to get serious so I can practice and get you guys some chords to play to. But if I get one little tiny distraction, like that headphone cord ended up on my shoulder and I started making a couple mistakes, it drives me nuts. These little tiny things to get yourself into the zone to practice, and I'm trying to get something perfect for you guys. That distraction fucked me up immediately. As soon as I concentrated on that, I hit the bass string instead of the A string. Little stuff like that that I'm not going to edit out of the tape because I want you to be aware as a beginner. Certain things that you may notice yourself that you can do that makes yourself a better guitar player. If I'm sitting in a chair, I just bought one of these footstools because I usually put my foot up on the edge of the bed, or I put my foot up on a box, or always I'm lifting my foot up, and it's like, man, I gotta stop this nonsense. They make footstools. It cost me $20 to get in the proper sitting position. I got the guitar pretty much headstocks level. Everybody is different. Do not take this to heart, what I'm saying to you right now. This is what I'm doing. Jimmy Page, his guitar, I'll have to take my strap off. It's down here. He must have these super long arms. I can't do that. My arms are not that long. So I have to have my guitar right up here. I've got stubs for fingers. My thumbs are stubs. My fingers are not that long, so I have to play in a really proper position, which to me is having the headstock pretty much eye level, very comfortable on my right hand, so I can use my wrist and not my arm. You don't want, that's another thing I should mention, and I'll have to do strumming. You really don't want to be using your arm. You want to use your wrist. So distractions, make sure that you're comfortable when you're playing your guitar. One little distraction if you're trying to do like a serious performance, when you're practicing, any type of practicing is good, but sometimes I just noodle around my proper position. Doesn't really matter. I'm sitting back in a chair. But now that I'm trying to get serious, any little distraction, like even this microphone is too close because I didn't swing it out of the way far enough. I was dealing with that. So now I can move the microphone out of the way. I've got the guitar set up. I've got my cable out of the way so there's no distractions. I better check the floor, make sure there's nothing in the way. Then I would be able to have started the video and probably not have made a half a dozen mistakes through it. I'm leaving all the mistakes in. There are a couple notes that I hit on the 6th string instead of the A. I missed the A a couple times on the... So to me, you have to be very comfortable practicing your guitar and your positions, and then you'll be a better guitar player once you learn what your favorite tricks are. You may like having your guitar low. You may like having the neck down. I'm not saying I always play like that. If you're rocking and rolling, you move around and stuff like that. Absolutely. But there's some solos that I do that are, playing bass notes and lead. I have to be in the zone and, really concentrate. Depends what I'm playing with. If you're playing a classical solo or doing a rock solo or a jazz, everything is different. That's what the real fun about creating and making music is, to create of all different sounds that you do. This particular one is, the bass note is what I really have to concentrate and make sure that I always hit the 5th string and don't hit the E string. I've got the sum is always on the ready to do a deaden or whatever I got to do to deaden it if I do hit it. Basically speaking, the basic rhythm is that 5th string, the A note. Perfect example. Pay attention. And since we're on the talking note, how I hold the pick can be right or wrong. One side has the lettering on it. I use typically the heavier picks. I typically use heavier strings. If you have a slinky string, a 7-gauge string, it's going to be like a rubber band. It's going to be floating around. If you've got a thin pick, it's going to be floating around. If you want to do fast notes, if you've got a thin string, the string is not going to be able to keep up with your pick. It'll just start floating all over you, you know. I know a guitar player, Steve Hall from Yes, he uses a B string on his 6th string. I wish I had known that years ago, because I might have tried that. I haven't gone that far, but I usually use, let's see, this guitar has 11s. No, I'm sorry, this guitar has 10 on the top. My other one, like it, has 11 on it. So this is more of the rock and roll, a little bit easier to bend. But I'm still thinking, I might bump it back up to the 11s. I just like the heavier gauge strings. The pick I use is not extra heavy. I used to use the extra heavy. These are close to it. I really can't see what the millimeter is on them, but they're pretty heavy. And if all of a sudden I'm thinking about it and I've got the flat side without the lettering on it on my thumb, that can all of a sudden throw me right off. Be in the middle of something, I've probably been playing half the night, 5 songs in a row, never even thought about it, and all of a sudden oh my God, I'm using the flat side of the pick. That'll throw me right off. I generally have the writing side on my pick. It adds a little bit of friction. They do make picks that they got friction plates on there, way thicker than the edge of the pick. I don't like them big giant things like that. I just need a little extra friction, and just the lettering on it is enough for me. So all these little details, maybe when you're a beginner you might not worry about it, but just habits that you may go into, you may find the same thing. You may say, screw this guy. I like the thin picks. Go with it. Absolutely. 1000%. Try different gauge strings. The 7s gauge on top are really slinky. I would not recommend a 7 for a beginner. I don't think there's very many guitarists that use 7s. Generally, I would say most rock and roll guitarists, don't quote me on this because I haven't checked any stats, but I'd say it'd be from 8s up. There's other guys at websites, they do more in-depth on that. They'll say we got 8s, 9s, 10s, and they do tone tests and all. I do say there might be a little tone difference between the gauges, but I don't think that's really what you have to worry about. Your tone on your guitar, you can change that when you go to your amp, you can change that when you go to your DAW. You can change your sound 1,000 different ways to make an 8 sound like a 12, to make a 7 sound like a 10. These guys, they just get into this ridiculous science. Oh my God, the 8 sounds better. And, they kick out a bunch of distortion boxes, and they're trying to calibrate the sound of different string gauges. How can you tell what the difference of the sound of a string is if you've got 1,000 boxes on? Go to a clean sound, do your test, get some wave meters out there. Let's do some technical analysis if we're going to try to say if a 7 is better sounding than a 10 or 12. Go to your own preference. Try them all. You might like the 7s. Fine, go with it. That's what this is all about. You find what avenue you want to go down, and that's what we do. So just to finish up this song, because I ended up going to do a 5-minute jam for you guys, and after I realized all the mistakes I was making, it'd be like a great time. Let's get this out and make you a better guitarist so you can find out what works for you. We got the pick right, we got the strings right. Another thing, a lot of times, make sure that your thumb is on the middle of the neck. Don't try to do a chord like this here. Basically, the chord, what I'm doing is an A chord, slid up to the 5th fret, 5 strings. So don't try to do this chord with your thumb wrapped around the neck, and you'll be sitting there going, okay, I got it. It said it's an A chord, so I'm going to take the A chord. I'm having trouble doing the A chord. It's so much easier when your thumb is in the proper position. I can't even do an A chord if it's my thumb's not near right. When I'm playing, if my thumb isn't on the back of the neck and it's working, I don't think about it. Sometimes I use the thumb to deaden the strings. Jimi Hendrix was famous for doing chords with his thumb. If you've got extremely long thumbs, if that works for you, again, go with it. But the general idea is to have your thumb not horseshoed, in a, what they say, proper position. See, I was lying, because that is the position I have been playing this song in until I consciously think about it, and then I might correct it. But if I'm not paying attention, thinking about it, and just played it so long that it automatically will do what it wants to do. We'll get into vibrato on another video for you guys. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that, and I hope you learned anything. You learned one thing from me, you learned something from somebody else. You'll be on your way to practicing and playing the guitar before you know it. It's kind of like walking. We didn't know how to walk once upon a time, and now we're all walking, running, jogging. That's one foot, another foot. So we're going to get you guys to play. There's no right or wrong in what we're playing. If I'm playing this, you're playing lead in the key of C major, just start playing. Play from the bottom, play the top, play your C major scale, break it down to your A pentatonic scale. I don't believe we've gone into those kind of scales yet. Hopefully that maybe you've already learned a little bit about that, so you know what I'm talking about. No right or wrong, play it soft, play it loud, play it fast, play it slow. Put on the album. One thing I like to do is I play the keyboard part at the end on the guitar because we didn't have a keyboard player, didn't have a keyboard. Learn it, it's been kind of fun. I know the part on keyboards, but I did it on guitar. It's different. I like to do things a little always different than the albums, just because it could be very easy for me to go to the keyboards and have simulated Keith Emerson's sound and play it. It's very easy to play, but it's more fun on guitar because it's different. It's I'm not. I have to think about how to describe it and explain it maybe in another video. But and then what tone do I use? Do I use a synth tone? Do I use heavy distortion? Do I use a clean sound? There's just so many ways to play it. That's why I said I got to make a jam tape for you guys because there's so many sounds that you can layer your guitar on. I should have said that at the beginning. Colorize it, hit all your boxes. Try everything. Try fuzz. Try clean. And it's just a really great, fun song to play lead guitar to. So I hope you enjoyed it. I'm Chuck, and thanks for watching. And if you found anything informative, inspirational, please like and subscribe.